Because I came into furniture not as a product designer, but as someone who, was looking at sculpture, I guess I wasn't really interested in doing the same thing that everyone else does. I was interested in new ideas, innovation, because that's the heart of progression, I guess, is innovation. Without that, I guess we just stagnate. When I designed my first product, which was called the Kid Straw Stool, in 2010, I came to that resolution because our brief was given to us that we had to use a composite material, and I lived in a really small house in Rathdown Street, and so most people go straight, when they think of composite materials, they go straight to resin, and so I couldn't think of anything worse but using a toxic material inside a really, really small space. So I started doing research into more organic composite materials, and that's how I came across the wheat starch plastic, and that's where my research started to lead me, and that's how I ended up with that product. From there, I just became incredibly excited about this idea of DIY. I just thought, why couldn't we be producing things in our home? We have so many intelligent materials now, why couldn't we? Through actually creating work, we get emotional attachments to those things, which means that we end up keeping them for longer usually. If they're a one-off, people aren't going to throw them away, they're not going to end up in hard rubbish. And that's where I was so excited about these organic materials, the idea that, plastics last for something like 1,000 years, whereas the materials I look into and I do research into can last as long as they need to. And if they go to the tip, they can break down in a short period of time instead of just creating more waste. Well, this is the prototype for a product I worked on a few years ago. It's made from a material called polycaprolactone. The best way to explain this material is that it melts at 60 degrees, so you can put it in boiling hot water. It's pretty much infinitely recyclable, meaning you can continue to melt things down to create really strong objects. It's completely food safe and non-toxic, and it's completely biodegradable. So I guess we're looking at life cycle not as something that breaks down, but something that can be reused again. I think my real interest is going backwards against technology almost. I love what people are doing with technology, but I also like what people are doing making things by hand, because there's a real love for that sort of thing. There was a company that designed 3D printed shoes, and you could buy the 3D printed shoes. I saw no real worth in that at all, because their tagline was almost, you can print a new pair of shoes every day, which is incredibly wasteful, which I guess is just using technology to facilitate making money as opposed to doing something new, which is, I guess, where I'd like to be the most and would like to spend most of my time is trying new things.